Most men think they know their partner, but there is a hidden digital door in your house that you aren't allowed to open, and what's behind it would likely end your relationship in 5 minutes. You're noticing a subtle shift. The phone that used to sit open on the nightstand is now face down. The password that used to be your anniversary is now a random string of numbers she won't disclose. You are witnessing the birth of a digital shadow life. You're the victim of the encryption of loyalty. While you're telling yourself that everyone deserves privacy, behavioral observations show that in a committed relationship, a sudden wall of privacy is almost always a tombstone for transparency. You're witnessing a psychological border crossing. She didn't just want more space, she wanted a secure, encrypted laboratory where she can experiment with a new identity and a new man without your interference. You're the victim of calculated distance. You think you're being a modern, trusting husband, but you're actually funding the very device she uses to audition your replacement. Today, we are exploring the dark curiosity of why a woman who has nothing to hide suddenly starts acting like a CIA operative. I'm going to show you why that 6-digit code is the only thing standing between your current peace and a reality that will shatter your world. If you don't watch this until the final second, you're choosing to sleep next to a vault that is currently being filled with evidence of your own irrelevance. The most dangerous curiosity a man can have is wondering what's on her phone, because once you realize why the password changed, you can never go back to being the man who didn't know. Men, this channel is more than content. It's a brotherhood that exists for those who refuse to be controlled, distracted, or broken. My ex told me men today are too weak, too distracted, and too controlled to ever unite. I didn't argue. I decided to prove her wrong. Every man who subscribes is proof that discipline, self-respect, and strength still exist. If you stand for truth, self-control, and knowing your value as a real man, if you're here to sharpen your mindset and live with standards, subscribe and stay. Like this video and make your presence known in the comments. Let's see who's serious and is ready to prove doubters wrong. Because after this video, you'll be reborn as a new man who has discovered himself and is ready to take back his manhood. Make sure to subscribe and stay ahead because we're just getting started. We have to look at the architecture of digital deception. You see, brothers, a woman's phone in 2026 is not just a communication tool, it's an extension of her emotional reality. When she locks that phone and hides the code, she is creating a psychological compartment. Behavioral patterns show that when a woman is being loyal, she has nothing to hide, so she doesn't think about privacy. She leaves her phone on the counter. She lets you use it to look up a recipe. But the moment she meets a new source of validation, that phone becomes a high-security asset. You are the victim of selective transparency. She will tell you about her day at work. She will tell you about her lunch with friends, but the most important parts of her life are now encrypted. You're witnessing the data-driven divorce. She is mentally checking out of your world and checking into a digital world where you are the villain and the other man is the hero. This leads us to the gaslighting guardrail. When you finally build up the courage to ask, "Hey, why did you change your code?" she doesn't give you a straight answer. She gives you a deflection attack. She tells you that you're insecure. She tells you that you're controlling. She tells you that you don't trust her. You are the victim of projective inversion. She is taking her own guilt and flipping it around to make it your character flaw. Behavioral observations suggest that the louder she screams about trust, the more she is actually hiding. She knows that if she can make you feel crazy for asking, you'll stop asking. You are being psychologically neutralized. You're the victim of a woman who is using your own desire to be a good, secure man against you. She knows you don't want to be the jealous boyfriend, so she uses that label to keep her digital vault sealed shut. I want to tell you about a man named Kevin. Kevin was a hard-working contractor, a man who believed in old-school trust. He and his wife Megan had been together for 7 years. One day, Kevin noticed Megan started taking her phone into the shower. Then he noticed the password had changed from their anniversary date to something he didn't know. When he asked her about it, Megan went on a 3-hour rant about how she felt smothered and how Kevin needed to work on his trauma. Kevin was the loser in this story because he chose peace through ignorance. He apologized to her. He bought her flowers to show he trusted her. He spent 6 months going to therapy to find out why he was so insecure. Kevin was the victim of the slow burn betrayal. While Kevin was busy working on himself, Megan was busy sending photos and videos to a guy she met at the gym. She used the privacy Kevin gave her to build an entire secondary relationship. When Kevin finally found out, after accidentally seeing a notification pop up on her screen, the damage was already done. Megan didn't feel sorry. She told him, "This is why I locked my phone, because I knew you'd react like this." Kevin lost his house, his dog, and his dignity because he thought privacy was a virtue in a marriage. He failed because he mistook secrecy for growth. He spent thousands of dollars on therapy to fix a jealousy that was actually his own masculine intuition trying to save his life. You have to recognize the threshold of the screen. When she sits next to you on the couch, but her phone is tilted 10 degrees away from your line of sight, she is physically manifesting her internal distance. You are the victim of micro-omission. It's not just about the big lies, it's about the fact that she no longer wants you to see her digital face. Behavioral observations show that women who are branch swinging, looking for a new man while still holding on to the old one, use their phones as the bridge. The password is the security guard on that bridge. You are being digitally devalued. You are the one paying the phone bill, but you are the only person on earth who is not allowed to see what's inside it. You're witnessing the financed infidelity. You are literally paying for the service she uses to betray you. The next psychological stage is the notification panic. Notice how she reacts when her phone pings while it's near you. Does she dive for it? Does she turn it face down immediately? Does she look at you to see if you saw the name on the screen? You are the victim of high alert coexistence. This isn't how people live when they have peace. This is how people live when they are in a conflict of interest. Behavioral patterns suggest that the phone has become a trigger for her. She wants the attention from the other man, but she wants the stability from you. The password is the only thing keeping those two worlds from colliding and destroying her comfortable setup. You are being used as a safety net while she tightrope walks with another man. The loser's loop is the man who tries to sneak and find the code. You think that if you just get the evidence, you'll feel better, but you are the victim of the evidence trap. Even if you find the messages, she will just find a new way to hide them. You are being drained of your energy. Instead of building your empire, you're playing digital detective in your own bedroom. You have to realize that the changed password is the evidence. You don't need to see the texts to know the heart has moved. The lock on the phone is the lock on her heart. You are being psychologically enslaved by your need for proof. If you were still debating whether her right to privacy includes the right to hide an entire secret life, you need to understand the concept of the digital vault. She isn't just protecting a password, she is protecting a version of herself that you aren't allowed to meet. You're sitting there in a house you built, feeling like a guest in your own marriage, while she treats her phone like a high-security block site. You're the victim of information withholding. While you're stressing over whether you're being too much, she is currently enjoying the thrill of a connection that thrives in the dark. You're witnessing a psychological divorce that started the moment she hit change passcode. She didn't accidentally forget to tell you the new one. She intentionally created a barrier to see if you were weak enough to accept it. You're the victim of the boundary test. You think you're showing respect, but she's recording your silence as submission. Today, we are finishing the work of the digital reclamation. We are looking at the final psychological shifts, the exorcism of the shared life, the transparency protocol, and the mastery of the unbothered exit. I'm going to show you why the password isn't the problem. The woman who needs one is. If you don't watch this until the final second, you're choosing to be the man who stays in the dark, while the woman he loves is currently shining a light for someone else. The most powerful thing a man can do when a woman locks him out of her phone is to realize she has just handed him the key to his own freedom. I know men with standards are here. If you value discipline, respect, and strength, subscribe, like, and comment. We have to talk about the psychology of the digital vault. You see, brothers, a woman who is all in with a man doesn't feel the need for a vault. She wants you to see her life. She wants you to be part of her world. But when the password changes, she is creating a mental border. Behavioral observations suggest that secrecy in a relationship acts like a slow-acting poison. It creates a gap where trust used to be. You are the victim of the shadow gap. This gap is where she stores her backup plan. It's where she keeps the conversations that would hurt your feelings but feed her ego. You are being digitally segregated. You are the one she calls when the car breaks down, but he is the one she texts when she wants to feel alive. You are being used for utility, while he is being used for validation. Then comes the power of total transparency. A sovereign man understands that trust isn't something you hope for, it's a standard you set. If the standard is no secrets, then a password change is a violation of the contract. You are the victim of the contract breach. Most men try to argue her back into being honest. This is a behavioral error. You cannot argue someone into having integrity. You are being psychologically manipulated into believing that transparency is toxic masculinity. It's not. It's a requirement for a healthy union. Behavioral patterns show that when a man stops demanding transparency and starts accepting secrecy, the woman loses the last bit of respect she had for him. You are being drained of your alpha energy by accepting a subpar arrangement. I want to tell you about a man named Jason. Jason was a pilot, a man used to clear communication and strict protocols. He noticed his girlfriend, Chloe, started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. When he noticed the password change, Jason didn't play the detective. He didn't check her phone at 3 a.m. Jason was the winner in this story because he understood the instant audit. He sat Chloe down and said, "I noticed the password changed. In my life, I don't do secrecy. You can keep your password, but you can't keep me." Chloe tried the "you're being crazy" defense. Jason didn't argue. He didn't yell. He simply started packing his bag. He realized that the phone was just the symptom, but the liar was the disease. Jason won because he valued his internal peace more than the idea of Chloe. He walked away that night. 3 weeks later, he found out Chloe had been talking to her ex for months. Jason saved himself years of digital gaslighting because he trusted his gut more than her excuses. He moved from being the victim of her deception to being the master of his own reality. He won because he realized that a woman who hides her screen is already hiding her heart. He didn't need proof to know he was being disrespected. He just needed patterns. You have to recognize the curiosity trap. Your brain wants to know what she is hiding. Is it an ex? Is it a coworker? Is it just attention seeking? You are the victim of useless data hunting. Brothers, the content of the secret doesn't matter. The existence of the secret is what matters. Behavioral observations show that men who obsess over knowing the truth end up losing their minds while the woman continues to lie. You have to move to indifference. If she needs a password to keep you out, you should need a map to find your way out of her life. You are being psychologically liberated the moment you stop caring what's behind the lock. The winner's protocol is about the high-value response. You don't beg for the code. You don't try to guess it. You simply recognize that the agreement of trust has been terminated by her. You are the prize. You are the sovereign man. You recognize that your life is a high-speed train, and anyone who wants to ride it must have a clear ticket. If she wants to hide her data, let her hide it in a house you don't pay for. Healing is the realization that the phone was just a tool the universe used to show you that she wasn't the one. You are being realigned with the truth. You are being reforged. You now know that privacy is a weapon used by the weak to deceive the strong. You are the master of your own psychology. You don't need to see the messages to know you deserve better. You are the sovereign man. You are the master of your own boundaries. You don't wait for her to confess. You are the one who decides when the game is over. So, here is the smart question for the brotherhood today. If her phone was a mirror reflecting her true character right now, do you think you'd recognize the woman you fell in love with? Or would you see a stranger who has been playing a role this whole time? I want to hear from the brothers who saw the password change and knew exactly what it meant. How did you handle it? Did you stay and play the game, or did you walk away with your head high? For the men currently being gaslit about their insecurity, speak up. Tell the brothers how she's trying to make you feel crazy for noticing the obvious. Let's get the engagement up so we can help the brother who is currently staring at a locked screen and wondering if he's losing his mind. Your words might be the unlock code he needs to finally see the truth. This channel is for men who are done blaming themselves for other people's choices. If that's you, don't leave as a spectator. Subscribe and stay ahead because we're just getting started. Support the message, speak in the comments, and stand with the men who choose clarity over confusion. I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp, stay cold, stay in your power.